My beloved child, be still before me and give your soul a quiet place deep enough to hear what it has been trying to tell you for so long. There are pains that no longer cry out, not because they have healed, but because you have grown used to living with them. And there are wounds that no longer startle you, not because they have closed, but because you have learned to walk around them each day. Like someone accustomed to avoiding a shard of broken glass on the floor, yet never bending down to clear it away. I do not want you to call numbness peace. I do not want you to call silent endurance maturity. Nor do I want you to convince yourself that a bruised and wounded heart is a fate you must carry forever. He has sent me to bind up the brokenhearted. As Isaiah 61:1 declares, "And if I have sent the healer to those who are wounded, how could you believe that your pain is something I want you to accept as an eternal home?" There were days when you smiled while your heart was bleeding, when you said you were fine simply because you did not want anyone to ask further, when you told yourself that everyone has wounds and therefore you had no right to be weak. But my child, the fact that many people are hurting does not make pain normal in my eyes. A barren land cannot be called a garden merely because flowers once grew there. A neglected heart cannot bloom simply because time passes. Time may cover memories with dust, but only grace can heal them at the root. You have hidden those cracks beneath the garment of responsibility, beneath a strong appearance, beneath busyness, beneath familiar words that everything will eventually pass. But some things do not pass on their own. They must be brought into my light, placed beneath my hand, and called by their true name, so they no longer rule over you in silence. I do not blame you for learning how to survive. I know there were seasons when you did not have enough strength to do anything except keep walking. I know there were moments when all you could do was tell yourself not to collapse for one more day. But today, I am not merely calling you to exist. I am calling you to live again. You were not created to become a locked room filled with hidden sighs. You were not made to befriend pain, to regard the cuts in your soul as familiar furniture in your house. Psalm 147:3 says that I heal the brokenhearted and bind up their wounds. Hear me clearly. I am not asking you to decorate your wound. I am not asking you to cover it with the appearance of strength. I am not asking you to learn how to live with it forever. I declare that I heal and bind up, because my heart cannot bear to watch you bleed in silence. Remember the paralyzed man who lay beside the pool of Bethesda for 38 years. He had remained so long beside the place where people waited for a miracle that helplessness had become the rhythm of his life. When my son saw him lying there, he did not begin with condemnation, but with a piercing question. Do you want to be made well? As recorded in John 5:6. That question was not asked because I did not know his suffering, but because true healing always begins when the soul stops agreeing with its captivity. My beloved child, I ask you the same today. Do you truly want to be made well? Not merely to hurt a little less, not merely to feel relief for a moment, not merely to have someone understand you, but to let me touch the deepest place within you, the place you have avoided for far too long. Perhaps you are afraid of that answer, because being healed means you can no longer hide behind old reasons. Being healed means you must release the familiarity of pain, even if that pain once helped you explain why you did not dare to hope, did not dare to love, and did not dare to move forward. But I do not pull you out of that place with harshness. I come as the gardener who knows every root, every dry branch, and every fragile new shoot. I will not break what is still alive within you. I will lift it up. I will not uproot your entire garden because a few places have withered. I will water, prune, tend, and breathe life into the place that seemed to have no spring left. As John 15:2 reminds you, every branch that bears fruit the Father prunes, so that it may bear more fruit. My touch may sometimes make you ache, but that is the pain of restoration, not of destruction. My beloved child, stop calling hardness of heart protection. Stop calling the inability to feel peace. Stop calling the walls around your heart wisdom. I desire to give you a heart that is gentle, yet not weak. A soul that knows how to love, yet also knows discernment. A spirit open enough to receive light and strong enough not to become a dwelling place for darkness. Ezekiel 36:26 declares that I will give you a new heart and put a new spirit within you. I will remove from you the heart of stone and give you a heart of flesh. This is the work I long to do within you, not merely soothing the surface, but transforming what has grown hardened inside, not merely wiping away today's tears, but restoring the joy that has been silenced through many seasons. So let me come near the place you once promised yourself you would never open again. Let me touch the memories that make you shrink back, the words that caused you to question your worth, the losses that left you afraid to hope for good things again. You do not need to explain everything perfectly before me. I understand even the sobs that never became words. I know the things you are too afraid to name, and I do not come to shame you for hurting too long. I come to tell you that you do not have to continue hurting this way. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. As Matthew 11:28 declares, that rest is not the forgetting of everything that happened, but the laying down of your burden in the arms of the one powerful enough to heal what you cannot heal yourself. Today, I am calling you to step out of the habit of enduring and into the light of healing. Do not wait until you stop trembling before you come. Do not wait until your wounds appear beautiful before allowing me to see them. Come to me exactly as you are, weary, honest, longing, perhaps still doubtful, perhaps still hurting, yet willing to be loved. I will restore the garden within you. I will soften the soil that has grown dry. Pull out the roots of bitterness. Lift up the tender branches, and cause the fragrance of grace to rise again from the place that once held only silence. You were not born to live forever with wounds. You were born to be healed, to bloom, to carry life, and to know that in my hands, no broken soul is ever too late for a new spring. My beloved child, let your heart become still before your feet continue into another day, carrying the same old weariness. There are mornings when sunlight still falls gently across the window, birds still sing, and the world continues moving. Yet inside you it feels as cold as a room that has not been opened in a very long time. You wake up, do what must be done, say the words that need to be said, smile for those who need to see that you are fine. But deep beneath it all there is a silent emptiness you cannot quite name. My child, I do not take that lightly. When joy no longer rises within you, when the dawn no longer stirs your soul to live more deeply, when each new day arrives and your spirit feels only heaviness, this is not merely passing exhaustion. It is the quiet cry of the deepest place within you. Longing for my touch, my soul thirsts for God, for the living God. As Psalm 42:2 declares. And that thirst cannot be filled by busyness, by work, by words of self-comfort, or by pretending that everything will simply pass on its own. I have seen you through the long nights when no one knew how exhausted you truly were. I saw the moments you swallowed your sighs in silence, the times you forced a smile so others would not worry, the moments you told yourself you were fine while your heart hung low like a sail without wind. You have tried to become strong by continuing on, continuing to work, continuing to endure, continuing to meet expectations, continuing to hide the things that hurt you. But, my child, enduring is not always healing. Busyness is not always moving forward. Silence is not always peace. Some pains do not disappear simply because you stop speaking about them. They only retreat deeper within. waiting for the day your heart becomes too weary to hide them any longer. I ask you this with love, not accusation. Are you truly light within? Are you truly resting in the deepest part of your soul? Or have you simply become so accustomed to carrying burdens in silence that you no longer realize they are bending your shoulders lower with each passing day? Do not be afraid to look into the places you have avoided. I know why you avoid them. You did not do so because you are weak. You did so because there are memories that make your soul tremble whenever you touch them. Wounds you believed you had overcome, when in truth, they were only covered by the dust of time. You fear that if you stop for a moment, everything you have struggled to hold together will collapse. You fear that if you begin to cry, the tears will never end. You fear that if you admit you are hurting, you will no longer be the strong person you tried so hard to become. But I want you to understand that true strength is not never breaking into tears. True strength is daring to bring your tears into my presence. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. As Matthew 11:28 declares, I do not ask you to come after you have put your heart in perfect order. I ask you to come while you are still tired, still confused, still heavy, still unsure where to begin. Remember the prophet Elijah, who once stood boldly before the people, who witnessed my power revealed upon Mount Carmel, who saw fire fall from heaven, and yet afterward fled in fear and exhaustion. He sat beneath the broom tree, so discouraged that he asked to die. Do you see? My child, even one who had once stood strong in me, could reach a place of weariness deep within the soul. Yet I did not rebuke Elijah for being weak. I did not ask why he was not braver. I sent an angel to touch him, bringing bread and water so he could eat, rest, and continue on until I met him in a gentle whisper. In the same way, my beloved child, I do not come to you merely demanding that you rise immediately. Sometimes the holiest thing you need is to let me nourish you, to let me give you rest, to let me speak again to your soul that you have not been abandoned in your exhaustion. You have learned to hold yourself together for so long that at times you mistake striving for faith. But faith is not carrying the entire world upon your shoulders and calling it maturity. Faith is entrusting to me what you are too weary to carry. Faith is daring to say, Father, I need you, without shame for that need. I did not create you to live apart from my embrace. When I breathed life into you, I did not place within you the destiny of a soul meant to save itself. I created you to walk with me, to know how to lean on me, to rest in me, to surrender your burdens before they crush your heart. Cast all your anxiety on him because he cares for you. As 1 Peter 5:7 reminds you, not only a portion, not only the lighter things, not only the things you believe are worthy enough to bring before me, but everything that is draining your strength. I desire to step into the rooms within you that you have locked away, not with force, not with words of judgment, but with the gentleness of a father who knows how deeply you have hurt. Let me touch the memories you fear revisiting, the sorrow you have never named, the disappointment hidden beneath responsibility, the cries you swallowed during the days when no one asked if you were truly okay. I do not come demanding that you explain every wound perfectly. I knew them before you spoke. I simply do not want you to remain alone within them anymore. Psalm 34:18 says that I am close to the brokenhearted and save those who are crushed in spirit. So do not believe the lie that your brokenness pushes you away from me. It is precisely in your brokenness that I draw nearer, bending low to bind up what you cannot heal yourself. My child, your soul does not need another layer of busyness to hide its pain. It needs truth. It needs light. It needs to hear that you no longer have to pretend to be strong before the one who already knows everything. It needs to rest within a love that does not demand a performance from you. If all you can begin with is the smallest prayer, then begin there. If all you can do is sit silently before me without words, then simply sit. If tears come, do not push them away like enemies. Let them become a river carrying what has long been buried back into the light. I will not let you drown there. I will lift you little by little, soften what has become hardened, restore to you a joy that is genuine, and teach you to breathe again in the rhythm of my peace. So today, do not continue living as though your soul does not need care. Return to me in truth. Lay down the burden you have carried for far too long. Let me hold the part of you that has grown weary, the part that has been afraid, the part that has tried so hard to prove it is fine. I do not love you less when you are weak. I do not leave you when you cry. I am not disappointed that you need support. You are my child, and your Father is here. When the next morning comes, I want the light not only to shine through the window, but to shine within your heart as well. I want you to awaken not merely to continue enduring, but to begin living again. Come close, my beloved child. Give me what you cannot carry, and within my embrace, you will learn again that rest is not failure, but the place where new life begins. My beloved child, let your heart become still before you rush to defend the things you have grown accustomed to believing, loving, and holding on to. There are words I am placing within your soul that do not come to make you doubt everything, nor to turn you into someone fearful of people. They come like a lamp set before the doorway in the night, so you may know which doors should be opened and which should remain closed. I know your heart longs for closeness, longs for someone who understands you, for a place where you can lean without needing to explain too much. I do not blame you for that longing, for I myself created you with the capacity to love and to connect. But my child, true love will never pull you away from my light. True companionship will not dim your soul, weaken your prayers, or slowly make you doubt the worth I have placed within you. Therefore, test the spirits to see whether they are from God. As 1 John 4:1 reminds you, do not look only at the outward appearance of words, smiles, or acts of care. Look deeper and ask whether afterward your soul is drawn closer to me or quietly led farther away from me. There are influences that enter your life, not with loud noise or obvious threats, but with a quiet familiarity. They come through words that sound wise, yet slowly make your faith grow cold. Through advice that seems protective, yet plants doubt in your heart toward what I have spoken. Through relationships that make you feel you must dim your light in order to be accepted. My child, darkness often does not need you to turn away from me all at once. It only needs you to become careless little by little, to compromise little by little, until my peace leaves you and you still believe it is merely exhaustion. Therefore, learn to discern through the Holy Spirit. The wisdom that comes from above is first pure, then peaceable, gentle, reasonable, full of mercy. As James 3:17 declares, what comes from me may correct you, but it will not humiliate your soul. What comes from me may expose what is wrong, but it will lead you toward repentance, restoration, and peace, not into confusion, shame, and distance from your Father. I want you to observe not through suspicion, but through watchfulness. After spending time around someone, ask your heart this: is the faith within you being stirred awake or slowly extinguished? Do you remember me more? Or do you begin to forget my presence? Do you become gentler, wiser, and more steadfast? Or does your spirit grow heavier, more confused, and restless? Do not ignore those signals. The Holy Spirit within you does not always warn with thunder. Often he speaks through a quiet uneasiness, through a silence within your heart, through the sense that something is not pure, even when everything outwardly appears good. Colossians 3:15 says, "Let the peace of Christ rule in your hearts. When my peace begins to leave a connection, do not rush to deny it simply because you are afraid of losing that person. There are things you call love, but if they pull you away from me, then they must be brought into the light, so I may reveal their true nature." Remember Delilah in the story of Samson. She did not come to him with swords on a battlefield, but through closeness, where he let down his guard. Samson stood strong before visible enemies, yet became weak within the embrace of what he refused to discern. Through each question, each persistent plea, each intimacy lacking holiness, he revealed the secret of his strength. And when his hair was cut, he awoke, not knowing that his strength had departed from him. My beloved child, that story was not placed in Scripture to make you afraid of love, but to teach you that spiritual strength must be guarded. Not everyone who enters your intimate spaces should be allowed to touch what I have placed within you. Not every gentle voice deserves a throne within your heart. Guard your heart above all else, for from it flow the springs of life, as Proverbs 4:23 declares. And this means you must discern who is being permitted to sow seeds into your mind, emotions, and faith. I know there have been moments when you held tightly to a relationship not because it made you stronger, but because you feared loneliness. You convinced yourself that the heaviness was normal, that everyone hurts each other at times, that as long as someone stayed beside you, you should not ask for peace as well. But my child, I did not create you to trade light for the temporary presence of people. I do not want you to close your heart so completely that you trust no one. But neither do I want you to open the doors of your soul to everyone simply because they know how to say the words you long to hear. True love will never force you to choose between them and me. The people I send into your life may correct you with truth, yet they will still draw you closer to the light. They may not always satisfy your emotions, but the fruit of their presence will be clarity, peace, humility, and goodness. As Matthew 7:16 says, "You will recognize them by their fruits." Do not listen only to what they say. Look at the fruit they leave within your soul. If today you recognize that something is making you weaker, come to me before reacting hastily. Do not act out of fear. Do not sever ties in anger. And do not remain simply out of pity or fear of loss. Bring that person, that relationship, that advice, that influence into my light. I see what you cannot see. I know motives that cannot be read by human eyes. I hear even the things left unspoken. I can show you which connections need healing, which boundaries must be established, and which doors must be closed so your soul may be protected. Psalm 32:8 declares, "I will instruct you and teach you in the way you should go. I will counsel you with my loving eye upon you. You do not need to guess in fear. Let me lead you in peace." And remember, discernment does not make you hard-hearted. Discernment makes your love purer. When you allow me to filter what is permitted to influence you, you do not lose your ability to love, but are freed from bonds disguised as love. There are people I will teach you to love from a healthy distance. There are words I will teach you to hear without receiving into your heart. There are hands I will gently remove from your life, not because I desire to leave you lonely, but because I am making room for companionship that comes from the light. Do not be afraid when I reveal the truth. What I uncover is meant to protect you, not to make you bitter. What I separate is meant to set you free, not to leave you empty. My child, when you do not know whom to trust, keep your ears close to my voice. When your heart is torn between affection and uneasiness, look to me. before looking at the reactions of others. When you sense my peace leaving you, stop and ask me why. I will not let you lose your way if your heart sincerely desires to walk in the light. Come to me with your truth, weary, confused, longing to be loved, yet still desiring to live rightly. In my presence, you are allowed to breathe. In my presence, you do not need to pretend that everything is fine. I will restore not only the parts others can see, but also the hidden rooms where misleading words and unhealthy influences once wounded you. And as you learn to recognize my voice more clearly than every other voice, you will no longer be led astray by smiles disguised as light, but will walk steadily in the wisdom, peace, and unfailing love of your Father. My beloved child, let your heart become still within my presence. For what I am doing in you is far deeper than what your eyes can presently see. You often think restoration is simply when the pain lessens, when the tears stop falling, when one day you can smile again without feeling an ache within. But my restoration does not stop at the surface. I do not come merely to place a thin bandage over the places where your soul is cracked. I come to touch the very source, the place where fear took root, where doubt settled like dust, where you quietly began believing that you would never become whole again. I am the one who declared in Isaiah 43:19, "Behold, I am doing a new thing, now it springs forth." And this new thing is not merely a change in outward circumstances, but a life awakened again from within you, a vision cleansed, a heart softened, a soul learning how to breathe freely once more. There were seasons when you believed you only needed enough understanding to stop being hurt, enough experience to avoid deception, enough strength to never fall again. But my child, true wisdom is not born from controlling everything. It is born from remaining close to me. Knowledge may show you many roads, but my presence teaches you which path leads to life. Human reasoning may analyze what has happened, but only the Holy Spirit can reveal what lies beneath the surface, which motives must be purified, which connections must be released, which promises must still be held on to, and which fears are no longer permitted to guide your life. As James 1:5 says, "If any of you lacks wisdom, let him ask of God. Come to me not as someone who must discover every answer alone, but as a child who knows their Father sees what their eyes still cannot. I will not rush you the way the world rushes you. The world wants you healed quickly so you can become useful again, wants you silent quickly so no one feels uncomfortable, wants you to cover your wounds with the appearance of strength and call that progress. But I do not heal through pressure. I heal through love. Each day I will touch a different part within you. Today, the fear of abandonment. Tomorrow, the memory that caused you to blame yourself. Then the weariness that stole your joy in prayer. I will not violently tear out what is tangled inside your heart, but will soften it through grace until you trust me enough to place it back into my hands. Psalm 23:3 says that I restores my soul. He leads me in paths of righteousness. And that is exactly how I am leading you, not merely pulling you out of darkness, but teaching you how to walk steadily in the light. Remember Naaman, the great commander afflicted with leprosy. He possessed status, reputation, and strength in the eyes of men. Yet beneath his garments of honor was a sickness no one in the palace could heal. When I led him to the prophet Elisha, the path to healing was not what he expected. He anticipated a grand ritual, a majestic touch, a display worthy of his position. Yet, I told him to go down to the Jordan River and wash 7 times. At first he became angry, because that healing required humility from him. But when he chose to obey, his flesh was restored like the skin of a little child. My beloved child, Some of your healing will begin in the same way. I may ask you to let go of the pride that says you must always be fine, to release the need to be healed according to your own expectations, even to lay down the garment of honor you have used to hide the places where you are hurting. When you are willing to step into the waters of obedience, I will do what human strength cannot accomplish. Do not fear when I bring you back to places you once avoided. I do not lead you there to drown you in the past, but to redeem what you believed was lost forever. Some of your tears will become streams that wash away confusion. Some of your moments of weakness will become the very places where my power is revealed. There were seasons of silence that you once called loneliness. Yet one day you will realize they were the places where I was quietly building the foundation of a faith no longer dependent on feelings. My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. As 2 Coríntios 12:9 declares. Therefore, do not despise the places where you once trembled. If you place them into my hands, those very places can become altars of restoration. I do not want you merely to survive the things that wounded you. I want you to live in fullness, in a peace that no longer needs to pretend, in a clarity no longer clouded by fear, in a freedom no longer held captive by the past. Every wound you surrender to me will not be wasted. Every loss you lay at my feet I will use to enlarge your heart, deepen your faith, and teach you to show mercy toward others with a gentler and truer compassion. Romans 8:28 reminds you that all things work together for good for those who love me. But understand this clearly, I do not call evil good, nor do I call pain beautiful. I am the one who has the power to take what was broken and turn it into a testimony of my kindness. Therefore, open your heart, my beloved child. Let me breathe new life into the regions of your soul you believed had gone silent forever. Let me clear away the dust of doubt from your faith, remove what does not belong to me, and restore to you the wings that pain once convinced you had been broken beyond repair. Do not keep your eyes fixed upon the ashes as though they are the entire story. Turn your face toward me, for in me no part of you is hopeless. What was once fractured, I can heal. What was once lost, I can redeem. What was once weak, I can transform into a place where my glory shines brightly. Rise in the gentleness of grace, not through your own strength, but through my breath within you. I am restoring you, renewing you, leading you out of the depths and back into the land of hope, where your soul may once again breathe within the peace of your Father. My beloved child, stop fighting against your own heart as though you must win an inward battle before you are allowed to rest within me. Let your breathing slow, and let the voices that demand, accuse, pressure, and exhaust you fade from the chamber of your soul. I am not calling you to present a perfect record before me, nor am I asking you to prove that you are strong enough, mature enough, or worthy enough to be embraced by me. I knew you before you learned how to hide yourself. I saw the nights when you cried without sound, the moments when you forced a smile to conceal your brokenness, the emptiness you could not explain, even to yourself. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. As Jeremiah 1:5 declares. And so there is no darkness within you that surprises me, no fear within you that makes me turn away, and no wound so deep that my love cannot reach it. Understand this. My child, I do not enter your life like a distant guest who arrives only after every room has been perfectly cleaned. I step in while the dust of the road still clings to your feet, while your heart is still in disarray, while unhealed memories continue to ache quietly within you. I do not come to reopen your failures as evidence against you, but to lift from you the weight you have carried for far too long. Psalm 103:13 says that as a father has compassion on his children, so I have compassion on those who fear me. That compassion is not cold, distant, or standing far away while you struggle alone. That compassion bends down, remains beside you, patiently waiting for you to stop hiding and dare to open the door you once locked out of shame. There are hidden places within you that have been neglected for so long that you began to believe they no longer needed care. You covered them with silence, buried them beneath busyness, and told yourself that if enough time passed, everything would heal on its own. But I know there are wounds that do not heal merely because they have grown old. There are pains that do not disappear simply because you have learned not to speak of them anymore. I desire to enter those places, not through force, but with gentleness, like the first rain falling upon dry ground. He will come down like rain upon freshly cut grass, like showers that water the earth. As Psalm 72:6 beautifully declares, and my grace is the same way, not violently shattering you, but slowly soaking into barren places, softening what has grown hard, awakening what you believed had died, and calling life back into the lands within your heart that once cracked from drought. Remember the story of Hosea and Gomer. I told the prophet Hosea to love an unfaithful woman so that through his life my people would understand my heart toward those who had wandered far away. When Gomer fell into shame, when she seemed beyond redemption, Hosea still went searching for her and bought her back. That was not a story of weak love tolerating darkness, but a picture of redeeming love. A love willing to enter broken places to call the beloved back into their original dignity. My beloved child, I have sought you in the same way, not because you have never wandered, but because you still belong to me, not because you have never failed, but because my love is stronger than the exile of shame. I have loved you with an everlasting love. As Jeremiah 31:3 declares, and that love does not expire in seasons of weakness. Therefore, let me hold you within a safety the world can never provide. My embrace is not a cage meant to imprison you, but the place where your soul relearns what it feels like to be protected. Within my arms, you do not need to perform the role of someone who never hurts. You do not need to explain every tear. You do not need to polish your prayers into beautiful words. If all you can whisper is, "Father, I am tired," that alone is enough for grace to begin flowing. Romans 8:26 says that the Spirit helps you in your weakness. For there are times when you do not know how to pray, yet the Spirit Himself intercedes with groanings too deep for words. Do you see? My child, even when you no longer have words, heaven is still not silent before your pain. I will teach you how to breathe again, not only with your lungs, but with your soul. I will teach you how to trust again, not through a fragile innocence that is easily wounded, but through a faith that has been healed and anchored in truth. I will teach you how to love again, not with a heart that loses itself in order to be accepted, but with a heart that knows it is first loved in me, in the places you believed had died. I will plant new seeds of life in the places you once called hopeless. I will open pathways you never imagined possible. Isaiah 61:3 declares that I give a crown of beauty instead of ashes, the oil of joy instead of mourning, and a garment of praise instead of a spirit of heaviness. That is what I am doing within you, not merely wiping away your tears, but transforming the ground where they once fell into a field of testimony. You are not ruined, my beloved child. You have not been forgotten in the dusty fields of life. You have only grown weary from walking too long without resting your head upon me. You have only forgotten that there is a place where you are allowed to be weak without being despised, allowed to cry without being pressured to recover quickly, allowed to return without being questioned for wandering far away. Listen to my voice in the deepest part of your soul. It is not the voice of condemnation, but the call of your Father. That voice has followed you through winding roads, through silent seasons, even through the times when you thought you could no longer hear it. My sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me. As John 10:27 declares, today, let your soul recognize that voice again and return home. Now, rest in me. Lay down the things you no longer have strength to carry. Open the door for me to enter every memory, every fear, every dry place, every part of you that once believed it could never be restored. I will not rush you, but I will remain faithful. I will not break you further, but gather you together again through mercy. I will not merely help you continue surviving, but will restore within you true life, true joy, and true peace. And when you allow me to touch your soul, you will see what was barren begin to soften, what was cold begin to warm, and what had fallen asleep begin to stir again beneath the breath of the Holy Spirit. Come near, my child. You are not alone in that dark night. I am here, very near, and my love is still calling you back to the life I have never stopped preparing for you. My beloved child, remain in this moment and do not turn away too quickly. For there are times when my light does not come with loud sounds, but arrives softly, like a breath touching the deepest places of your soul. Perhaps in the stillness of the night, when everyone else is asleep and the world no longer demands your attention, you have sensed as though a gaze were resting upon you. Yet that gaze is not there to search for your failures, nor to reopen everything you have done wrong, nor to make you shrink back in shame. It is the gaze of the one who created you, who knew you before you were formed, who has seen both the light and the pain within you and still has never turned away. As Psalm 139:1-2 says, O Lord, you have searched me and known me. You know when I sit down and when I rise up. That is how deeply I know you. My child, I know even the things you do not know how to name. The sorrows you believed had sunk too deeply to reach. And even the small remaining spark within you that at times you yourself have forgotten still exists. There are many lights in this world that shine brightly. Yet the longer you look at them, the colder your soul becomes. The world offers countless lamps that promise to lead you toward happiness, praise, success, attention, fleeting pleasures that numb your pain for a moment, distractions that silence your inner voice for a few hours. Yet when the night returns, you still find within yourself a room that has never truly been warmed. My child, not everything that shines is true light. Some lights only blind your eyes without healing your heart. Some paths appear wide and inviting, yet the farther you walk them, the farther your soul drifts from peace. My son declared in John 8:12, I am the light of the world. Whoever follows me shall not walk in darkness, but shall have the light of life. My light does not merely illuminate the road before you, it revives the part of you that has grown weary from following too many false lights. I do not speak to you as though speaking to a nameless crowd. I am calling you personally, with a voice that only your soul can truly recognize. There are words I speak that do not sound loudly in your ears, yet tremble within your heart. There are times I come not like thunder tearing through the sky, but like a drop of oil soaking into a lamp nearly extinguished, so that the flame within you will not go out. You once believed that only great and dramatic things were signs of my presence. Yet I often enter your life through the gentlest moments, an unexpected peace in the middle of anxiety, a verse of scripture suddenly becoming alive at the exact moment you need it, tears falling without driving you into despair, a quiet instant when you close your eyes and simply know that you have not been forgotten. A bruised reed he will not break, and a smoldering wick he will not snuff out. As Isaiah 42:3 declares, I do not come to extinguish the fragile part still remaining within you. I come to shelter it, breathe life into it, and cause it to burn brightly again through grace. Remember Hagar in the wilderness, the wounded woman cast into loneliness, believing that no one truly saw her. There, in the barren land, when tears and fear overwhelmed her heart, I met her, not in a palace, not surrounded by the honor of crowds, but in the very place where she believed she had been forgotten, and she called me the God who sees me. As written in Genesis 16:13, my beloved child, I am seeing you in the same way, not looking upon you to condemn, but to save, not looking upon you to frighten you, but so you may remember that your life still carries value before me. When no one else fully understands your story, I understand. When you no longer have the strength to explain the burdens within your heart, I still hear you. When you feel trapped within the wilderness of your own soul, my eyes remain upon you, gentle, steadfast, and never turning away. Perhaps you have lived too long through outward eyes and forgotten the eyes within. Outward eyes see circumstances, failures, what others say, doors closing, and the things you still do not have. But the eyes of faith see deeper. They see my hand within the waiting, the seed hidden beneath dark soil, the dawn being prepared even while the night still seems thick. Paul prayed in Ephesians 1:18 that the eyes of the heart would be enlightened to know the hope of my calling. That is what I desire to do for you. Open the eyes of your heart so you no longer live like someone who sees only darkness. When you close your eyes to the noise of the world, true light will begin to shine more clearly, not a light from outside that blinds your eyes, but the light I planted within you from the very beginning, now awakened through my presence. Therefore, let your heart become still. Do not fear silence, even if at first it causes you to hear more clearly the things you have long avoided. In that silence, I do not leave you alone with your pain. I sit beside you within it. I come like a ray of light slipping through the crack of a closed door, not breaking it open through violence, but patiently inviting you to open it yourself. Revelation 3:20 says, Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If anyone hears my voice and opens the door, I will come in. Do you see? My child, I do not force your soul to receive me through fear. I knock through love, wait through mercy, and enter through the gentleness of a father toward a child weary from wandering too long. You once chased after things you thought would make you feel seen, yet the more you ran after them, the more your soul seemed to fade. Today I am calling you back not to accuse you for searching in the wrong places, but to let you taste a light that never fades. That light will not shame you for having lost your way. It will simply show you the road home. It will not expose your wounds to deepen your pain. It will shine into them so grace may touch them at the root. It will not make you smaller. It will restore to you your true identity. You are a child loved by me, called by me, held by me, and illuminated by my light. Stay with me a little longer, my beloved child. Let the noise fade away. Let the false lights out there lose their power to pull you, and let your soul recognize its true source of light. I am touching you even in this very moment, not through noise, but through presence. I am pouring fresh oil into the lamp within you, softening what has grown dry, calling the light buried beneath weariness to rise again. Do not leave while I am healing. Do not turn away when dawn is beginning, for though the night has been long, my light is stronger than that night, and in that light, you will remember that your soul has never belonged to darkness, but to me, the one who has seen you, loved you, and called you back into life. My beloved child, Be still and let me shine upon something that may seem very small, yet has the power to open deep streams within your soul. Your eyes are not only the place that receives the images of the world, they are also a quiet gateway into the house within you. What you gaze upon will gradually become what you think about. What you think about for long enough will gradually become what you desire, and what you desire will quietly guide your steps. Therefore, my son declared, the eye is the lamp of the body. If your eye is healthy, your whole body will be full of light. In Matthew 6:22, this word does not speak only of physical sight, but of the direction of the soul's gaze. When your eyes turn toward what is pure, your heart is nourished by light. When your eyes become accustomed to resting on what darkens the heart, the peace within you will slowly weaken before you even realize it. There are things that do not enter your life with a violent noise. They come only through a glance that seems fleeting, a curiosity you consider harmless, an image you tell yourself will not affect you. But my child, everything you allow to remain in your gaze is like a seed planted in the soil of your heart. A seed being small does not mean it has no power. A small thought, if nourished by attention, can become a great desire, a passing image, if you return to it again and again, can become a cord pulling your heart away from purity. I do not say this to make you afraid of everything around you, but to make you watchful and to teach you to treasure the holiness I have placed within you. Proverbs 4:23 reminds you to guard your heart above all else, for from it flow the springs of life, and the eyes are one of the paths that lead into that heart. Remember David, the one I anointed, the one who sang sacred songs, the one who defeated Goliath by faith. Yet one evening, when he remained where he should have been watchful, his eyes rested upon what did not belong to him. From an unguarded look, his heart moved into desire. From desire, he entered into concealment. From concealment, sin spread and brought pain to many. That story in 2 Samuel 11 was not recorded so you would despise David, but so you would understand that even those who have walked closely with me must guard the gates of their souls. A heart that loves me still needs daily vigilance. A life that once carried holy fire can still grow weak if it lets its gaze wander into places where darkness has laid a trap. Therefore, do not rely on your own strength, but ask me to guard your eyes. As Psalm 119:37 prays, turn my eyes away from worthless things, preserve my life according to your word. I created your eyes to recognize the beauty of life, to see grace in the morning light, to look upon others with mercy, to read my word, and to let your tears be illuminated by hope. I did not create your eyes to become an entrance for images that make you wither, comparisons that cause you to despise yourself, or things that stir up greed, envy, lust, bitterness, or despair. When your eyes keep looking at what makes you anxious, your soul will begin to learn the language of anxiety. When your eyes remain fixed on things that feed fear, your heart will forget my assurance. When your eyes keep searching for the false light of the world, you will find yourself exhausted from chasing what dazzles but never warms. But when your eyes return to me, you will be reordered from within. Those who look to him are radiant, their faces are never covered with shame. As Psalm 34:5 says, this is the secret of peace, looking upon the one who does not break you. There are gazes that draw you away from me, not only because they contain impurity, but because they teach you to see yourself wrongly. You look at the lives of others and think you are late. You look at the standards of the world and think you lack worth. You look at the past and think you cannot change. You look at the wound and forget to look at the healer. My child, your eyes do not only look at what is around you, they also choose where your soul places its trust. If you keep looking at the storm, you will be like Peter, walking on the water. beginning to sink because his attention turned to the strong wind. But when your eyes return to my Son, the saving hand is always near. I do not blame you for the times you become distracted. I simply call you to return, to look at me again, and to let true light lead you out of a distorted vision. Therefore, make a holy covenant with your eyes. As Job said, I have made a covenant with my eyes, in Job 31:1. That covenant is not a harshness that makes you shrink back from life, but wisdom that protects the lamp within you. Learn to turn your eyes away from what clouds your heart. Learn to stop before curiosity becomes a doorway. Learn to ask me, does this bring me closer to the light? Or is it drawing me into dimness? Does this make my heart more loving, pure, and peaceful? Or does it make me more restless, craving, comparing, angry, and empty? The Holy Spirit will teach you discernment. He does not warn only through prohibition, but through the departure of peace from your heart when you begin to draw near to what does not belong to life. I do not want you merely to avoid darkness. I want you to be nourished by light. Let your eyes grow accustomed to looking upon what brings your soul back to life. My word. Good things. Simple beauty. Traces of grace in ordinary days. The faces of those who need to be loved. And the path I am opening before you. Philippians 4:8 teaches that whatever is true, honorable, just, pure, lovely, commendable, and worthy of praise. You should think on these things. When you choose to look upon what is pure, you do not lose freedom, you enter a deeper freedom, because your soul is no longer dragged by images and desires that make it heavy. Purity does not make you poorer, it makes you brighter. Today, my beloved child, offer your eyes back to me. Say to me, Father, teach me to see as you see. I will cleanse your vision from the dust of fear, from the fog of wounds, from the false lights that once led you astray. I will teach you to see yourself with dignity, others with mercy, temptation with watchfulness, the future with hope, and me as the light that never goes out. When your eyes turn toward me, your heart will find its direction again. When your gaze is guarded in truth, your whole life will begin to shine from within. And though darkness may still try to call your name in countless forms, you will no longer lose your way, because the lamp within you is lit by me, and my light will lead you in peace, in purity, and in the freedom of a child who belongs to heaven. My beloved child, let me place my hand upon your eyes, not only the eyes of flesh that see the world outside, but also the hidden eyes of your soul, where you receive, remember, and quietly carry the things you have looked upon for too long. You often think that a glance is only passing, an image only something that moves before your eyes, a moment of curiosity, something that leaves no trace. But my child, your soul is more sensitive than you realize. What you look upon with attention will find its way into your mind. What enters your mind will gradually touch your emotions, and what remains in your emotions long enough will begin to shape how you see yourself, others, life, and me. Therefore my son declared, the eye is the lamp of the body. If your eye is healthy, your whole body will be full of light. In Matthew 6:22, this word is not only a teaching about outward purity, but a warning about the inner doorway. Wherever your eyes turn, your soul will slowly lean. There are images that are like seeds of life. When you look upon what is pure, true, beautiful, and what causes your heart to remember me, peace, gratitude, hope, and tenderness begin to rise within you. But there are also images that are like seeds of darkness. They may not make you stumble immediately, but they quietly take root. nourishing comparison, fear, lust, bitterness, envy, self-contempt, or despair. You may think you are only observing the world, yet many times the world is quietly planting within you ways of seeing that do not belong to me. A garden is not destroyed in a single night. Weeds grow when the gardener stops paying attention. In the same way, the light within you is not extinguished by one great gust of wind alone, but it can grow weaker when you continually allow dark things to settle like dust upon it. I see the moments when you look at the lives of others and your heart grows heavy. You see them possessing what you do not yet have, moving faster than you, receiving more recognition than you, and you begin to doubt the journey I have uniquely prepared for you. I see the times when you look at the news, the noise, the chaos, and your soul absorbs fear the way dry ground absorbs muddy water. I see the moments when you look back at the past, staring too long at what wounded you, until old pain becomes the lens through which you view everything in the present. But my child, physical eyes only see the surface, while the eyes of the soul were created by me to perceive a deeper truth. For we look not at the things which are seen, but at the things which are unseen. As 2 Corinthians 4:18 reminds you, because the things visible to human eyes are temporary, but what I am doing in the unseen realm carries eternal value. Remember the story of Elisha's servant. When the enemy army surrounded the city, the servant opened his eyes and saw only danger, horses, chariots, and what appeared to be certain defeat. With natural eyes, he believed they were trapped. But Elisha, who saw through faith, declared, "Do not fear, for those who are with us are more than those who are with them." Then he prayed, "O Lord, open his eyes that he may see." And when the servant's eyes were opened, he saw the mountain filled with horses and chariots of fire surrounding Elisha, as written in 2 Kings 6:16. My beloved child, this is also my word for you today. Perhaps you are looking at your circumstances and seeing only what surrounds you, only lack, only the things threatening your peace. But if I open the eyes of your soul, you will see grace surrounding you, protection already present, and my hand working in places your natural eyes cannot yet reach. Therefore, do not only ask me to change what you see, ask me to heal the way you see. Some people are delivered from circumstances, yet still carry the eyes of fear. Some step into a new season, yet continue viewing everything through the lens of old wounds. Some receive blessings, yet cannot rejoice, because the eyes of their soul have become trained to search for signs of loss. I desire to do something deeper within you. I want to cleanse your vision from the dust of the world, from the voices that once caused you to doubt your worth, from the images that made you forget you belong to the light. Pray, as Psalm 119:18 says, "Open my eyes, that I may behold wondrous things out of your law." When your eyes are opened by me, you will no longer see my word as mere letters upon a page, but as life, as direction, as light, as love guiding you step by step. Know this, my child, there are things you must turn your eyes away from, not because I desire to make your life empty, but because I desire to keep your heart pure so you can recognize what is true. Turn your eyes away from things that stir craving without making you holier. Turn your eyes away from images that cause you to despise your body, your journey, your calling, or your worth. Turn your eyes away from things that awaken darkness within your heart while pretending to be harmless entertainment, innocent curiosity, or something small. True freedom is not allowing everything to enter your soul. True freedom is knowing what no longer has permission to enter. Just as Philippians 8 teaches you to think upon whatever is true, honorably, just, pure, lovely, and commendable. I am also teaching you to look upon what nourishes life instead of what drains light from within you. I do not want you to live in fearful tension, but in peaceful watchfulness. I want your eyes to become windows of mercy, through which you look upon others, not with quick judgment, but with wisdom and love. I want your eyes to recognize me in ordinary things, in the morning light, in a helping hand, in a verse of scripture opening at the exact moment you need it, in tears being gently wiped away, in small signs that reveal I am still near. When you begin to see this way, your soul will no longer be led by the false lights of the world. You will begin to notice my presence in places where you once saw only emptiness. You will see opportunities to love where you once saw only inconvenience. You will see invitations to grow where you once saw only trials. Today, surrender your eyes to me. Let me cleanse the inner mirror so it no longer reflects fear, comparison, and wounds, but instead reflects my light. Let me reopen the eyes of your soul, the part that once burned brightly when you walked closely with me, the part dimmed by the dust of life and seasons of pain. You are not condemned to keep viewing life through the same old lens. I can give you new eyes, eyes that discern what belongs to life, eyes that turn away from darkness before it plants its seeds, eyes that look up to me when circumstances try to pull you down. And when your eyes are fixed upon me, your soul will rediscover the road back to peace. My light will enter you, remain within you, and then shine outward through you, so that your life will not merely belong to someone who looks, but to someone who truly sees. My beloved child, let your heart grow quiet beneath my gentle hand. For today I do not only desire to touch the wounds within your heart, but also to cleanse your vision. There are days when you open your eyes and yet your soul still feels as though it is standing in fog. You see people, movements, and the activity of life around you. Yet you no longer recognize beauty, no longer sense the quiet presence of grace, no longer notice the small rays of light I continue placing along your path. This is not because I have withdrawn light from your world, but because the eyes within you have grown weary after too many seasons of looking through tears, anxiety, and disappointment. You have viewed life through the dust of wounds for so long that what once seemed radiant now appears faded, and what once stirred gratitude within you now feels distant. Yet I speak to you as Psalm 119:18 says, "Open my eyes, that I may behold wondrous things out of your law." I desire to open your eyes, not merely so you may see the road ahead, but so you may see life again, rediscover meaning again, and recognize that I am nearer than you realize. Your eyes are a hidden lamp, and that lamp must be fueled by the oil of faith, gratitude, and genuine love. If you allow it to burn with the oil of fear, comparison, bitterness, or doubt, its light will flicker, and everything around you will gradually be colored by darkness. Therefore, my son declared in Matthew 6:22, "The eye is the lamp of the body. If your eye is healthy, your whole body will be full of light." Understand this deeply, my child. When your vision is purified, your entire life will begin to be reordered. You will no longer look at others only through their flaws. No longer look at yourself through old wounds. No longer look at the future through fear of the worst that may happen. The light within your eyes will guide your thoughts, your words, your choices, and even the way you love the people I place beside you. There are times when you wonder why everything feels cold, why the things that once brought you joy no longer touch your heart, why you walk through life feeling as though you are merely surviving. My child, when the soul grows weary, The eyes grow heavy as well when your heart drifts from the source of light. Everything loses its sacred depth, but I do not condemn you for having dimmed vision. I know which winds have blown against you. I know which nights caused the candle within you to tremble. I know which words distorted your sight, making you see yourself as less valuable, making you view life as nothing but loss, making you see me as distant. Yet I am the one who heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds. Psalm 147, 3 declares, "You name, I can also heal the way you see." Because sometimes what needs healing is not only the heart, but the window through which your heart looks upon the world. Remember the blind man at Bethsaida in Mark 8. People brought him to my son, and he did not heal him hurriedly before the crowd. He took the man by the hand, led him out of the village, touched his eyes, and then asked him what he saw. At first he saw people like trees walking around. Light had entered his vision, but clarity had not yet come. Then my son laid his hands upon the man's eyes once more, and he saw everything clearly. My beloved child, some of your healing unfolds in the same way. I do not always make everything clear in a single instant. Sometimes I must lead you away from the crowd, away from the noise, away from the places that have confused your vision, and patiently touch you again and again until you no longer see life through the distorted shadows of pain. Do not lose heart if today your vision is still blurry. I am not finished with you yet. My hand is still resting upon your eyes. When you allow me to look directly into you, that gaze will not make you afraid. For I do not see as people see. People look at outward appearances, results, success, and what you have or have not accomplished. But I look into the hidden places, where your lamp needs more oil, where your faith needs to be stirred into flame again, where your purity must be restored. The Lord does not see as man sees. Man looks at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart, as declared in 1 Samuel 16:7. Therefore, do not fear, my eyes upon you. One glance from me can dissolve the fog that years of fear have built around you. One glance from me can remind you that you have not been forgotten, not been ruined, not been swallowed by darkness. When I look upon you, I call the light within you to awaken. I want you to learn how to keep your eyes filled with holy oil. Nourish your vision with my word, with gratitude in small things, with mercy toward others, with truth instead of illusion, with worship instead of comparison. When you look upon an ordinary day and still recognize grace within it, oil is being added to your lamp. When you look at someone who once irritated you with intercession rather than judgment, the light within you grows stronger. When you look at yourself not through self-contempt, but through the truth that you are a child deeply loved by me, the eyes of your soul begin to shine again. Philippians 4:8 teaches you to set your mind upon whatever is true, honorable, just, pure, and lovely. This is also how I protect your vision from the false colors of the world. Now come close to me and let me wipe your eyes clean. Let me wash away the dust of disappointment, the smoke of anxiety, the veil left by words that caused you to stop seeing yourself with dignity. Let me restore to you the clear sight of the Holy Spirit, so you may see the path even when it is narrow. See hope even before circumstances have changed. See beauty even in places where life once turned to ashes. When you return to me, the light within you will not shine only for yourself, but also for those wandering beside you in darkness. You will walk with eyes no longer led by shadows, but illuminated by heaven itself. And from this day forward, when morning comes again, you will not only see sunlight beyond the window, you will recognize my light living within you, gentle yet powerful. quiet yet impossible to extinguish, guiding you step by step toward peace and true life. My beloved child, let me cleanse the way you see. For not all blindness exists in the eyes, and not all wisdom comes from human reasoning. There are people who can see streets, faces, lights, and the movement of life, yet inwardly no longer recognize the meaning of life itself. There are people who open their eyes each day to countless images, yet their souls still walk through fog because their vision has been covered by fear, comparison, wounds, and the voices of others. You too have been there at times. My child, you looked at the world through the lens of what wounded you, looked at others through the wrongs they committed, looked at yourself through your failures, and wondered why everything around you felt heavy and dim. But today I am calling you back to a different kind of sight, a vision illuminated by faith. For we walk by faith, not by sight. As 2 Coríntios 5:7 declares. This does not mean denying reality, but refusing to let visible circumstances become the final voice over your soul. I want you to learn to see through the eyes of heaven, where people are not measured only by what they have done wrong, but by what I am still able to restore within them. The world often notices stains before it notices seeds of life, sees the past before grace, sees weakness before the potential I have hidden deep inside. But I do not see as humanity sees. When Samuel came to the house of Jesse to anoint a new king, he was almost deceived by the appearance of the strong and impressive sons. But I declared, man looks at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. In it, Samuel Sexton, Shoo. Let those words teach you how to see differently. There are souls around you covered by failure, yet in my eyes they can still become instruments of mercy. There are people you once wanted to judge too quickly, but if you look at them through love purified by me, you will learn discernment without bitterness and mercy without blindness. And you too must stop looking at yourself as a report of everything that has gone wrong. I do not call you by the name of your failures. I do not see you as the sum of every moment you were late, doubtful, weak, or lost. I see you within the work of rebirth that I am performing, within the new life quietly growing beneath the soil of confusing seasons. If anyone is in Christ, he is a new creation. The old has passed away. Behold, all things have become new. As 2 Coríntios 5:17 declares. Do you see? My child, I am not asking you to pretend the past never happened. I am asking you not to let the past rule the way you see the present. When my love purifies the eyes of your heart, you will no longer see your wounds as a sentence against you, but as places where grace entered. You will no longer see unfinished roads as proof that you are worthless, but as parts of your story I am still able to redeem and weave into something greater. Remember the man born blind in John 9. The disciples looked at him and asked whose sin was responsible, as though his suffering were merely a problem of guilt and cause. But my son looked at him differently. He did not stop at the man's limitation, nor confine his life within the darkness that had existed since birth. Instead, he declared that this had happened so the works of God might be revealed in him. Then he made mud, placed it upon the man's eyes, sent him to wash, and the man returned, seeing clearly. My beloved child,